I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out, and I never...
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the vote.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
You know, the truth of the matter is that when you look, the truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
So notice something. I defended him on his bad joke because I have standards and I have principles.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, "Pigs in a blanket," talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Originally, the idea had come up of me debating somebody else on this topic, and that didn't end up happening. I would say, oh, I would say, I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. say, oh, I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. You know, you're a beta male.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It Motherfucking All. That's right, folks. I am your host, Andrea, also known as Andrea, also known as however other ways people pronounce my name. For whatever reason, my name is unpronounceable. If I would have known that this was the future that I would be dealing with, I would have gone with something else. That being said, welcome, folks. We are here. We are queer on this beautiful Friday the 13th, and I've got some news for you, folks. I have got some news. So,
Everybody comes in your grandmother.
that's the news. That's the news, folks. I would call her up, make sure she's okay. Cool shirt. Thank you. This is Astro Man, Mega Man 8, folks. Mega Man a motherfucking 8. That's right. Right? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, this is not new. I've had this for a while. I just don't wear it too often. I don't eat pigs, Felix, because I'm a vegetarian, so come on now. All right, folks. So I've got some pretty important news for today. And so I want to get into that, and then also, but yeah, so we got some actually, like, pretty good ass news here. I mean, it's a step. We got some news, and they're stepping, and I mean, some could say they're goose stepping, but that's, that remains to be seen. And so, but we'll see. They might be goose stepping. I'm not sure. But it's, there's something going on. But anyway, and then also, before we begin, one more and so let's get this. Wooten needs to smoke a blunt. I agree. JLP got booted from Indisputable with Rashad Ritchie, but right at the last second, he shouted, "Beta!" That's amazing. I've got top chat on. I gotta make that live chat. I might have missed some messages, folks. Oh, I did miss some messages from Catherine. I love me some ass news. That is good. That's correct, folks. Got some ass news coming up. Anyway. So, yesterday was day 114 of daily consecutive protests over the police assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. And we finally did it, folks. It finally happened. So the original, very first demand of the protests in Elizabeth City over the assassination of Andrew Brown Jr., day one, we went to City Hall and we demanded answers. And they basically said they didn't know what was going on. The Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department did not let them know anything about what was going on. And so City Hall is right down the street from the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. And so what we did on day one, now again, yesterday was day 114. On day one, we marched from City Hall to the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department and were met with guards. They locked the doors. We saw at one point Tommy Wooten look through one of the windows. He refused to speak with anyone in the community. And then on day two, we showed up again. And on day three, we showed up again. And on day four, we showed up again. And we continued to show up. And we still continue to show up at the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. That has been our meeting location for these protests for the last 114 days. And yesterday, at long last, we finally got an audience with Tommy Wooten too. And so, it, went about as well as I expected. Let me get this pillow out of the way. All right, so it went about as well as I expected. And you can watch the complete video I've got on YouTube. It's just uploaded. You can just type this into the search result if you're watching this in the future. So I recorded the entire meeting, and we did not make much progress in this meeting, but at least we had a meeting. And so this was, again, the original goal of the protests, was to at least have a meeting with the sheriff. It took him 114 days. 114 days to say anything to the community. 114 days. The sound was fairly muffled, probably because he was wearing a mask, and that's, he was breathing heavy, because look at him. And so, again, I just want to say that there's a lot of key moments in this video. I would recommend watching the full thing if you'd like. Some of the key moments where he said at one point that we have a lot of incorrect information, and there are answers, but he can't give us the answers. And that was one of the things that he was saying, is that there are answers to our questions. They exist. They're just, we can't have them. And so, we've been waiting for this meeting for 114 days. And we got basically no information. He said he is considering a police review board, citizen review board for the police. He is considering it. He also said it was in the works. So it is currently in the works, it is forming, but he's also still considering it at the same time. He said he is considering dropping the ridiculous charges against myself and 11 other protesters that, we had to deal with a couple months ago. He said he is considering dropping those charges. He said he will have answers for us after the legal case is over, which will take somewhere between now and 2 years from now. He said that, what else did he say? There was one other key point that I wanted to mention. Let me drink some coffee. It'll come back to me, folks. He said that he submitted a petition to release the tape. And he said he submitted another one. Bro, 2 petitions. I mean, that's incredible work from Tommy Wooten. So, basically, it took us 114 days to get an audience with him. And it's a start. It's a start. But we got nothing. We got no concrete details, no information whatsoever. He essentially filibustered for 35 minutes. And so, again, I want to, let everyone know that, we go through these steps, and I recorded this meeting so that we can see exactly how Tommy Wooten treats the community. He has been afraid to speak to us for 114 days. And so the seniors have been doing sit-ins every Thursday for the last couple of Thursdays. And that was what made Tommy Wooten decide, all right, this is the third sit-in, I think maybe the third or fourth sit-in, and I'll finally just talk to some of the older people. And so originally, I want to let everyone know, I was going to do a phone interview with these seniors during the sit-in in yesterday's show. I was originally going to call them around 10:30, halfway through the show, and have them give us a phone interview. But before the show started, they called me on the phone and said that they would prefer if I came here. They said that they just in case something happens, that way I could record it and have the entire thing. I was not expecting the sheriff to talk to them. I don't think they were expecting the sheriff to talk to them. But they told me that they wanted me down there anyway, and so that's why yesterday I cut the show early so that I could walk down to the sheriff's department. And basically 5-10 minutes after I got in was when Tommy Wooten came out to talk to us. And so, now we got the whole thing on film. And so we'll see if he goes back, if he, and this is the thing you need to understand about police. He says that, and politicians, because that's what a sheriff is. He is a cop and a politician. You know, like in math, you know, if you multiply a negative by a negative, it will become a positive. Well, that is not the case here. This is like multiplying a negative and then like, you know, multiplying another negative and then like, you know, putting a minus sign in front of the result or the product. Because a cop and a politician, that's two of the worst things you could possibly imagine. And that's what a sheriff is. And so you'll notice in a lot of the ways that he communicates, he says things like considering. He says, I can't do this right now. He says, I have no power over this. He says, okay, I hear you. I see you, right? That kind of stuff. And so you need to understand that we got no concrete information out of him. But again, we met with him. The door has been opened. And so we'll see if the door shuts once again or if he'll come out and meet with us again next Thursday if we decide to do another sit-in. We'll see. But, you know, either way, it happened, folks. He actually spoke to us. And again, if you do want to watch the full 36 and a half minutes, I would recommend it if you're in any capacity invested in what's going on in Elizabeth City. This is a milestone moment in the protests. It took us 114 days to get here. So hopefully by day 228, we'll have another audience with the sheriff of Pasquotank County. But anyway, it happened. I mean, you know, go watch the full tape if you'd like. Unlike the Pasquotank County Sheriff Department, I release the full tapes, the raw tapes, and the unedited tapes as soon as they are filmed. So maybe they could learn a thing or two from me. But either way, that happened. Matt, that is Keith Rivers. He is the president of the NAACP in Pasquotank County. So he is pretty good at talking, and he also like knows Tommy Wooten a little bit, and you know they've got a little bit of a relationship, you know, as in like I've seen you around, and you know Tommy Wooten probably hates him, that kind of a thing. What's the point to talk with cops? Felix, the point is we are not France, we are not Paris, we don't have millions of motherfuckers that are gonna like burn down cop cars, buddy. Like, this is a small town mostly filled with senior citizens. Like, if you think, like, 60 and 70-year-olds are going to grab Molotovs and baseball bats and, like, just overthrow the government, I got news for you. Like, you're dumb. I'm just letting you know. You talk to cops so that you get them on record saying things that you can use against them later. That's why you talk to cops. You know, come on. It's the same reason every time back when the Elizabeth City Police Department would talk to us every day. It's the same reason I would ask them questions like, why don't you wear name tags? Why didn't you keep us safe? It's because if they respond on camera, that can be used against them. And sometimes, usually they don't fuck up because these people are well trained, but sometimes they do. And when they do fuck up, then that's when you can go hard on them in the battlefield of ideas. And the whole point is to film them fucking up and then showing that film to other people so that they dislike cops even more. This is anti-propaganda. So, yeah. I mean, again, this is a small town, of mostly senior citizens. As far as, protesters, there's not that many young people out here. So, I mean, Did you mention I was that's in 2 days from now? The We Support the Sheriff event. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll find God and go there. Majority of white folks in Elizabeth City are racist fucks. There are a few like us, but not many. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But either way, they might baptize me. Maybe I'll let them. All right, folks. So yesterday was day 114 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City and the county of Pasquotank County over the police murder of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st, 2021. We have, I'm sorry, I got a comment in the chat. If you want a racist pizza, go to Big Daddy's. For those of you that don't know, one of the employees at Big Daddy's Pizza in Elizabeth City, wait for it, was at the Capitol on January 6th. Right, so anyway. But that being said, yesterday we had an audience with Sheriff Tommy Wooten in the morning. And then this will be, I did a recap segment, and you can go watch the full video of that if you're just watching the recap of this. But this is the protest demonstration recap. We had a couple more people come out, and we had a lot of positive reactions from the fact that we met with Tommy Wooten. Positive reactions, I want to stipulate that, people are happy that we met with him. But again, no one was surprised that we got no information out of him. It's very typical, and it's not going to deter anyone. If Tommy Wooten thought that meeting with us would make the protests go away, I've got news for him, and we've got news for him. We ain't going nowhere. So we did a demonstration. Yesterday it was really, really, really hot. So we did a little bit of a shorter demonstration than usual. Yesterday there was another event taking place after the march. And that event I did not attend that event because, it was hot and I had some stuff I needed to do. But that event seemingly went pretty well. I don't have any updates, outside of that at the current moment. But, and so we marched around the courthouse. We marched through Road Street. And we had a considerably, good amount of people. Again, at this point, most of the marchers are, adults, senior citizens. I'm typically the youngest person who comes out here, but it's because I'm so mature for my age, really. I mean, yesterday was very good. The energy levels were high. People were happy that we finally met with Tommy Wooten. People are even more, undeterred. They know that, meeting with Tommy Wooten was a step. It is a milestone. But a milestone is not the end goal. The road doesn't stop when you hit the mile marker. And so we got to continue to go. 114 days, folks. Every single day for 114 days. I mean, every time I do one of these segments and, and we talk about, just like, when I was doing like 30 days, when I was doing the day 30 video, I was like, damn, 30 days. And then, like, day 50, damn, 50 days. And then, like, day 69. Remember day 69? That was a long time ago. I remember day 69. That was a long-ass time ago. So, we did day 69. And then we did day 79. And then we did day 99. Then we did day 199. Oh, just kidding. That's in the future. But I'm actually a time traveler. So, I came back in time to tell you that day 199, it's going to be lit. But either way, we have been going out here marching non-violently for 114 days in a row, and it is a feat, everybody. It is, again, I don't know if there is a record. All I know is that Elizabeth City is going for the record. I feel like by the end of this moment in history, Elizabeth City will be in the books, folks. And I want to say that, again, I am super, super happy that I am able to be a part of this, because I find this to be, again, an absolutely amazing display of solidarity, community support, community gathering, connectedness, and just support for one another. And again, a very, very small town. This is not Minneapolis, where there's millions of citizens. This is not Portland or Seattle, where there's millions of citizens. This is Elizabeth City, North Carolina, where there's about 20,000 people. And so again, it's extremely impressive that this community is able to put a showcase on, a demonstration every single day. People come out after work. They drive right from work, not to home and crack open a cold one in the air conditioner, but some people drive from work to the protest and protest the government for 40 minutes and then go home and crack open a cold one, right? And that's what you really need to understand. At this point, this is a part of our routine. This is a daily aspect of our lives. This is like waking up, brushing your teeth, going to protest the government, coming home, making a sandwich. This is how we roll in Elizabeth City. And again, we're not going anywhere. This is just the beginning. 114 days, you might be thinking, that's pretty long. But we're going to be going until this is all over. And this will only be over when the sheriff deputies who murdered Andrew Brown are sent to prison, folks. Robert Morgan, Daniel Meads, Aaron Llewellyn, Stephen Judd, Michael Swindle, Kenneth Bishop, and Joe Lunsford all need to be in prison. And these demonstrations will not stop until that occurs. And so if anyone thinks otherwise, if anyone thinks that, oh, maybe they'll give up if we do so, no, that's not going to happen. All 7 of those sheriff deputies who violated the law and violated the morals of just like humanity. You don't kill someone. You don't murder someone in cold blood. And again, we all need to realize, why was Andrew Brown murdered? For drugs. The drug war is what murdered Andrew Brown. The architects of the drug war from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and onward, right, are responsible for Andrew Brown being massacred in a school zone, folks, at 8:30 in the morning, right? He was a casualty of the war on drugs. Nobody should have armed thugs hunt them down because they may or may not possess a substance that, quote unquote, is illegal. You cannot have a grain of sand be illegal. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. Now, again, your opinion on drugs, whatever. I think drugs should be legalized, taxed, regulated. I think that all drugs, drug test kits should be publicly available. I don't think that drugs should be criminalized. Does that mean I think kids should be sniffing cocaine? No, absolutely. I think we should take note of how alcohol works in this country. You have to be a certain age to consume alcohol. Now, personally, I think the age should be 18 and not 21. But I think that should be the case with all drugs. I think if you want to experiment, you should be able to take a class, learn the effects of a drug, and then try it out. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And if you get addicted, there should be ways to help you out. This is how I think the world should work. But either way, no one should be murdered for having drugs on their body. No one should be murdered for having drugs in their system. That's not the way that this world should work. And so I just wanted to say that as well. And day 114, folks. Day 114. And again, we're not going anywhere. And again, tomorrow I will talk to you about day 115. And so that's it. There you go. How's everyone doing, guys? And gals? And all of those that do not like those words? Hopefully everyone's having a great day. I'm having a pretty fantastic day, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. All right, folks. Trigger warning. Suspected UK mass shooter said he was American, Trump-supporting virgin. The man suspected of killing 5 people before turning the gun on himself in a mass shooting in England on Thursday night was an incel Trump supporter who posted about devil worshippers in government. The suspected shooter has been named by police as Jake Davison, a 22-year-old who is reported to have worked in construction. Davison allegedly killed 2 women, 2 men, and 1 victim who officers described as a very young girl during the rampage in Plymouth. It was the worst mass shooting in Britain since 2010. Real quick, let me put a pin in that. The idea that 6 deaths is the worst mass shooting since 2010. Like, I mean, America, like, has, like, mass shootings where 6 people die, like, once a week. So I'm just saying, there's a difference there. Before the shooting, Davison expressed his admiration for Donald Trump on Facebook and posted multiple self-pitying YouTube videos in which he identified himself as part of the incel community. On his Facebook page, Davison claimed to be from Arizona, but his distinctive accent is typical of people from the southwest of England. In one post from 2018, Davison shared a Trump quote, and when his friends ridiculed him in the comments, the suspect hit back, "You may not agree with his political views. I do, but he's different from the scum like Hillary or the people running our country like the neocon sellout that is then British Prime Minister Theresa May." Elsewhere in the comments, Davison wrote about conspiracy theories that sound similar to those pushed by QAnon believers. He wrote, "Skepticism of government is key, and everyone should be ready and prepared for anything bad that could happen. I am aware much of the government is deeply flawed. There are many pedophiles and even reported devil worshippers, people that sell us out to foreign countries." This man killed 6 people, folks. Davison's Facebook likes suggest he was obsessed with conservative U.S. politics. He followed the pages of Trump, all of his children, and several Trump businesses, as well as pages for the NRA, Fox News, Breitbart, Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, and one called Ted Nugent for President. In one comment, he said it was his dream to move to the States. In disturbing YouTube videos posted just weeks before the shooting, Davison appears to be deeply unhappy about his life. Under the username Professor Waffle, he refers to people like him as black pillars, incels, who believe unattractive men will never be romantically successful, regardless of how much effort they put into how they look. In one comment under his video, he wrote that he'd been consuming the black pill overdose. In one video, he grabs his belly fat and bemoans his lack of motivation to get fit, complains about women being simple-minded, and justifies sexual assault by saying women ignore, quote, average men and below average. When you've worked so fucking hard and you see other fuckers that work nowhere near as hard as you, then you wake up and look at the wall and think nothing's changed. He whines. I love that. He whines in one clip. I'm still in the same position, same period in life, still a fucking this, that, virgin, fat, ugly, whatever you want to call it. What's changed? Nothing. Yikes. Another video sees Davison spending 14 minutes complaining that he missed out on experiencing teenage love because of his weight, and saying that he has no desire to get a relationship with an adult woman. Let's say I get with a woman my age. She's had a million relationships, likely been destroyed and broken and torn apart by a fucking Chad. She's probably completely incapable of loving anyone like she did when she was 16, 17, 15. Not great at counting. When she first got with that fucking Chad. Folks! What the fuck? Like, I'm serious, though. Like, this is the kind of shit that you've seen, like, propagate on the internet for the last like 5 years. Like, this has been something that I've watched, like, just like get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The words that this person uses are very popular with right-wing communities, right? They all use, like, the incel community uses terms like Chad or whatever to describe anyone who's ever been laid ever and at all, right? And it's like, it's just bizarre. It's bizarre. This is bizarre shit, folks. I really need you to understand the through line between right-wing politics and mass shooters and crazy people like this it's a straight line. There are some branch points, but the branches just lead to mass shooters later on. Like, either the branches are a mass shooter today, or a mass shooter 2 years from now, or a mass shooter 3 years from now. And the only way that you can get these people off of this trajectory is by cutting the fucking branches and getting them out of these fucking hellholes that they're in. And this is one of the things that really is problematic with the internet, is that people have bizarre feelings of isolation. And they can be manipulated and steered in these directions by people that are just looking for a quick buck. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a lot of newspapers. There's a lot of politicians that are taking advantage of people that are isolated, depressed, and angry, and then turning them into these kinds of absolute and utter clowns, right? And you, like, again, like the pipeline, like every single level of these right-wing fantasy groups has someone profiting from pain and suffering somewhere along the way, right? These people do not learn all of these ideas by themselves. They may come up with concepts, but they do not go deep into these rabbit holes for several years all by themselves. It's because of people trying to profit off of their desperation, anger, and isolation, and then bringing them further down the rabbit hole, because the way money and capitalism works is if you can profit off of someone who's lonely and desperate, right? What you can do is you can make them more lonely, more desperate, and then all of a sudden they're spending all day, every day on your forums, all day, every day watching your YouTube videos, all day, every day buying your merchandise, right? And that's really, I think, the bottom line here, is that there is an industry on manufacturing hatred in young people, right? And that's something that I think needs to be touched upon here. At the end of his final video posted before the shooting, Davison compares himself to the Terminator, telling his viewers, "I know it's a movie, but I like to think sometimes that I'm the Terminator." Despite reaching almost total system failure, he keeps trying to accomplish his mission. A spokesperson for YouTube confirmed that Davison's channel was removed from its site Friday morning and said in a statement, "Our hearts go out to those affected by this terrible incident. We have strict policies to ensure our platform is not used to incite violence." Well, they must not be that strict, because he got his channel removed after killing 6 people. What? What? In a Friday morning press conference, police refused to comment on Davison's social media post and said they have not determined a motive for the shooting. Officers did confirm that Davison was a licensed gun owner and said witnesses saw him wielding a pump-action shotgun. The victims have not been named, but include a young girl. Chief Constable Sean Sawyer told reporters that multiple witnesses saw the girl and her unidentified male relative being shot on the street, calling that specific part of the shooting spree a truly shocking event. Could you imagine? Imagine you're out and about and you see this. With a shotgun, shoot and kill a young child? Like, that's gonna fuck you up for the rest of your life. I mean, like, seriously. Like, imagine you're just walking downtown and you see someone get out of a car with a shotgun and, like, literally blow a fucking child's body apart in front of you. Like, I couldn't even... Lord have mercy. Britain has some of the strictest gun laws in the world, since the Dunblane massacre in 1996, when a gunman murdered 16 children and a teacher inside a Scottish primary school. Would-be gun owners must go through several stages of police checks before they can obtain a license, which they have to be renewed for approval every 5 years. Britain hasn't seen a mass shooting on the scale of what happened in Plymouth since 2010, when a 52-year-old taxi driver, Derek Bird, went on a rampage that saw him shoot 12 people dead in West Cumbria. Safi Hilton, one of Davison's Facebook friends, posted a tribute to the victims of the Plymouth shooting, writing, "In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Thoughts are..." One of Davison's Facebook friends... "Thoughts are with the families, friends, and also witnesses of this incident. Tonight, remember to reach out and talk." Why didn't you reach out and talk? I really, it's just... I mean, again, like, I don't even know, like, if watching the Christchurch massacre didn't make you take right-wing violence seriously, I don't know, I hope this does. Seriously, though? Like, absolutely seriously. Like, when the Christchurch shooting happened in New Zealand, right, and the whole live stream is some dude, like, saying out loud 4chan memes as he's murdering 50 people, right? Y'all, like, look at the El Paso shooting that happened. Like, look, there's all these shootings where you look at these people's history, right? You look at these mosque, like, attacks in Canada and so forth, where they all are following right-wing content creators like Ben Shapiro and all these other people. There is an industry. Donald Trump is right now the head of the snake. An industry that profits off of producing mass shooters. This is an industry. Capitalism has given people an opportunity to create an industry off of manufacturing mass shooters. I don't even know. I have no other words. Actually, I do have some other words. The idea that this person's videos are removed, I'm sorry. I find that to be ridiculous. Now, I understand there is a point of view that says, hey, we don't want to glorify these people. I get it. But for the sake of historical documentation, we need to see how these people became the people, how this person became the person that killed a child with a shotgun. I want to know how that happened. And when you look at this person's YouTube history, when you see them going further and further down the Trump rabbit hole, like every month they would upload a video further and further and further down that rabbit hole. We need to understand how they got there, and we need to reckon with that as a society. We cannot ignore these mass shootings. I understand why people don't want to talk about them in public because they might feel like it's glorifying them. I get that. I understand that. I heavily disagree, because we need to understand what is producing people like this. And we cannot understand that unless we can look at what these people were doing in the years and months and weeks before they decided to kill children. That, in my opinion, is important. This person was manufactured to be a mass shooter by Trump and the Republican Party and right-wing YouTubers and the incel forums, the black pill, stupid garbage, Reddit 4chan shit. That is what manufactured a mass shooter. And we need to know that shit. That's my opinion. So, that's what I have to say on that one. Now, I don't want to be, just bear with me here. I'm just making a statement. my personal opinion, I think if marijuana and psychedelics were legal and were never made illegal, I feel like society as we know it right now would be completely different, right? And I get it. There's people that are crazy and they smoke weed, and I understand that that's the thing. But my point is, like, we have a society that will literally send you to jail if you're trying to, like, you know, just have fun. Like, you will be sent to prison for years and years and years, having your life stolen if you try to use, like, magic mushrooms for self-therapy or something, right? To me, that is bizarre. And when you look at other forms of how our society works, where if you can't get a job, right, and if you can't work in, like, a proper way, right, you get thrown on the street. That doesn't help solve the problem. You look at a society where people band together and create forums where they just, like, hate women all day. How does that happen? Because our society is atomized and it's broken. People are afraid to talk to each other. People are afraid of everyone else. It's ridiculous. We have a society that criminalizes being social. It criminalizes having friends. It criminalizes people being nice to one another, right? Capitalism promotes competition. Every human is competing for, like, a top slot on a leaderboard. Why are people afraid of discussing how much money they have with their friends and family? Why are people afraid of, like, you know, sharing things? Why are people afraid of all of that stuff? We should live in a society where we all help each other, and when we see someone who's downtrodden, we help them. That should be the society that we live in. And I'm talking about this on a global scale, right? Like, we need to, like, really, like, because again, like, there are legitimate problems that this person experienced. Isolation, loneliness, depression. That was taken advantage of by people that were looking to make a quick buck, and they turned like a really lonely and sad person into a fucking psychopath. And then that's not to say that this person has no individual responsibility. I think everyone has individual responsibility. We need to understand that when our society is predicated upon everyone hating each other and everyone trying to compete with one another and everyone, like, you know, like, it's not an effective thing to go. You know, it's not good, folks. It's not good. I'm gonna turn my AC on. Anyway, folks, that's gonna be my show for today. Y'all have a good one, and I will see all of you tomorrow. I'm sorry if today is a little short, but you know, in fact, I'm not sorry. I can do whatever I want. I'm allowed. In fact, I'm so allowed, and I'm so loud that I'm gonna beg for money on the internet. That's right, folks. I'm an e-beggar. So if you'd like to give me money, my PayPal, Cash App, or Patreon pages are linked in the chat room. Give me money today, give me money tomorrow, and give me money next week. Give me money every single day that you can, because I deserve it. I'm amazing. I'm beautiful. I'm highly attractive. I'm highly intelligent, and I don't have a job. So, I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? But anyway, that's all I got for today. You know, I feel like I've done enough. And folks. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Look at it. Lego Seinfeld, folks. A new update. Lego Seinfeld, folks. So I got some more walls coming in. We got the Commando 8. Folks, look, it's the Commando 8. Check it out. The window is open. The Commando 8 has been installed. And so currently working on the walls. We got Kramer with the pretzel, making him very thirsty. We've got Jerry just, you know, kind of chilling in the background. I've got some garbage strewn about the floor because I'm still in the middle of constructing it. But folks, the Commando 8 is here, and you know, it's got 12,000 BTUs, so that's pretty amazing. So that's the update for today. Lego motherfucking Seinfeld. Yay, $5. Good job. Give you money because you're attractive? This ain't OnlyFans. You're right. OnlyFans takes half of your paycheck and this doesn't. So hit me up. Let's go. Anyway, folks, y'all have a good one. That's it. That's all I got. That's it. That's everything. Nothing else exists. That's the rest of the world.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
No good, really bad for you.